What's up guys, my name is Ace, and there really hasn't been much news officially released about the Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 ports that are coming to PlayStation. Basically, the only thing we've got from any official source is the fact that we are getting these ports at some point in July. However, yesterday, they added the trophies to the database, so you can scroll through and see all the trophies that are earnable while playing these ports. And there were a few key changes from the original games that we're going to be talking about today. And then on top of that, and the first thing we'll talk about is the fact that there are, in fact, two versions of this. There's the PS4 version and a separate PS5 version. And while we don't have confirmation as to what exactly is going to be different between those two versions, the fact that they have created a separate PS5 version does imply that there will be additional features or performance options compared to the PS4 version. Otherwise, if they were completely identical, there would be no point in creating a separate PS5 version because PS5 users can just install the PS4 version of the game and play it just as if they had a PS4, and therefore it would be totally redundant to create a separate PS5 version unless there's something different between the two. Now, as far as what is different, we don't know. We can really only speculate at this point. But to me, the obvious speculation is that we'll likely be able to get either higher resolution or better frame rates, or both, and maybe even some additional graphics settings with the PS5 version compared to the PS4 version. Either way, I am seeing this as promising news, at least, that they have these two separate versions, because it opens the door for better performance or better resolution, for instance, on the PS5 version. Next, let's talk about the trophies, and more specifically, the few trophies that have been removed or changed from the originals. And the first one here is called Date Night, and this trophy was originally achieved by watching a theater mode clip with a friend. And that trophy simply isn't there for these ports, and this most likely means that theater mode will not be available on these ports, and that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that has been aware of the situation with cheating in the original games, which is a huge problem, and one of the big reasons we want these ports so bad, rather than just going back and playing the old games. The old games are basically unplayable because they are hacked and modded like crazy, and the primary method of spreading those mods was actually through theater mode in the games. So the lack of the trophy here does seem to suggest that they're just not going to have theater mode, and you know what? I am totally fine with that. If that means it makes it that much harder for people to hack and mod the game, then I'm all for it. Now, that's not to say that this is 100% going to solve all cheating problems. Every game's going to have cheaters, but if it makes it more difficult at least and prevents it from becoming as widespread as it is in the old versions of these games, then I'm totally on board with getting rid of theater mode. I don't need it. I think most of us will be just fine without it. However, the next trophy that was also removed is called Big Leagues, and for this one, you had to win 5 league play matches to get it. And again, while this is just speculation based on the fact that this trophy is gone, that may be suggesting that league play will not be included. And if that's the case, once again, I'm not overly surprised, but at the same time, I know league play was very popular back in Black Ops 2. In fact, as far as ranked modes go, that is the one that I have the most playtime in out of any Call of Duty game, was back in Black Ops 2. I really got quite deep into league play, and I really enjoyed grinding to those master ranks every season. And so if it turns out to not be there in these ports, I think that will be a disappointment for a lot of people that were really looking forward to that. Of course, you most likely will still be able to just create private matches, set up the competitive rules for yourself. And for those that are really into competitive play, they could still organize competitive matches. But that's obviously not as convenient and simple as just hopping into a league play game. Now, at the end of the day, while there were a lot of people that were really into that, when it comes to the overall population of the player base, it was probably still a fairly small percentage, and the majority of people that want to play these games are likely just going to be into the public match aspect of it, or zombies. And so I doubt the lack of league play would be a deal breaker for all that many people, but for some, I'm sure it would be. And then finally, another trophy that didn't reappear is for Black Ops 1. We had one called In the Money, and this was earned by winning 5 wager matches in a top 3 position. And once again, not officially confirmed, but this does seem to be suggesting that wager matches might not be included in Black Ops 1. And for those that are unfamiliar, in Black Ops 1, you unlock most of your gear and stuff with an in-game currency that you can't purchase with real money, by the way. This is all an earnable currency that you get by playing the game and completing contracts or wager matches. And with these wager matches, they were free-for-all party-style game modes where in order to enter them, you would be wagering that in-game currency that you've collected. And if you win or get a higher placement, you end up winning that in-game currency, so you can really increase that in-game currency quite quickly if you're adept at winning in wager matches. And this is one of the features that I often look back to fondly when I think back to Black Ops 1. Wager matches were such a cool idea because we did have this in-game currency and you could actually put something on the line. And it really increased the stakes when playing in those wager matches because you could also lose all of that in-game currency that you put up. And so seeing no trophy for this is definitely concerning because if they did remove wager matches, I feel like that's a decent chunk of the heart and soul of what made Black Ops 1's multiplayer so special and unique compared to any of the other COD games that never had that wager match feature. Now, there is a lot of speculation that they will be removing wager matches because of new gambling laws, for instance, that have come out since then, and you are technically gambling. Even though it is an in-game currency, you can't spend real money on it. It is still technically gambling, and perhaps it would violate some new laws, or maybe they just want to play it extra safe and they don't want any heat coming towards them by having gambling included in their game. But if wager matches are in fact gone, I think that would be a big shame. And that's something where I could genuinely see that being a deal breaker for quite a few people when it comes to Black Ops 1. In fact, for me, when it comes to these ports, my primary interest is with Black Ops 2, since I just preferred that game. It is still, to this day, my favorite Call of Duty of all time. And I was still thinking of getting Black Ops 1, of course, and playing it a little bit. But honestly, one of the things I was looking forward to with getting Black Ops 1 was wager matches. And if that ends up not being there, I'm not too sure what I'm excited about with Black Ops 1 beyond just going back and experiencing a little bit of the gameplay. Just to get a quick nostalgia hit, I don't see myself sitting down and really grinding Black Ops 1, especially if there's no wager matches present. But when it comes to all of this, of course, time will tell. Maybe for some reason they just decided to remove the trophy for all of these things while still including all of these features. It seems a bit unlikely that that would be the case because why go to the trouble of removing the trophy unless these features are removed? As I said, we are expecting these ports by the end of the month, but they haven't really been marketing. They haven't been pushing this. We haven't been getting any updated information outside of the fact that we have to dig through the trophy database, for instance, to find out what they've added. But the fact that they have been adding that, and also there have been updates pushed on the database for these ports, seems to suggest that they're really gearing up for that launch. And these ports could come literally at any time. And I suspect since we haven't been seeing a marketing lead up to this, I think they are going to be going the shadow drop route where out of nowhere, they just go live and the internet explodes and everybody hops on and stuff. And as a result, with the trophies being there and with some updates recently hitting the games on the database, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we're playing these ports literally this weekend. Now, obviously, don't quote me on that. I know just as much as you guys do. It's just speculation, but the window is closing. We're already 1 week through July, so 3 weeks left to go. And another consideration here that may come into play is Season 5 for Black Ops 7 is expected in 2 weeks. And I have my doubts that they would release these ports at the same time that they're releasing a new season for the current Call of Duty game where there's a lot of money to be earned on battle passes, for instance. I don't think they would really want them to be competing with each other. And therefore, if we're looking at the window of July, I think it's either going to be by the end of this week, we're getting these ports, or they're going to be waiting all the way until the end of July after the initial hype for Season 5 has started to die down a little bit. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I am very curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. What are your thoughts on all of this news that we talked about today? Like the fact that we have separate versions for PS4 and PS5, as well as these missing trophies. If those features that are tied to those trophies are in fact missing from these ports, is that going to change whether or not you're planning on getting these and playing them? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.